Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am from Group 1 and today my group members and I are going to present our case study on the analysis of socio-economic development among Bisaya tribe in Sabah, Malaysia.
Malaysia is a country with plural society. There are three main races, namely Malay, Chinese, and Indian. While in Sabah and Sarawak, there consists of various races such as Iban, Murut, Bisaya, Bajau, Kadazan, and others. The focus of the study is the Bisaya found in the rural areas. The Bisaya tribe are the indigenous people of Borneo Island. Bisaya tribe was the earliest inhabitant of the northwestern part of Borneo, according to Harrison. Even after our country acquired the Declaration of Independence, the state of Sabah has developed, but the problem of poverty, especially in the rural areas, has not been fully resolved. Sabah is a state with a multi-ethnic people. The problem of poverty is still a major concern in Sabah. Is it because most of them work as farmers and their low level of education? The objective of this study is to look at the standard of living, especially the income structure and the dimension of Bisaya poverty. Socio-economic status of family coerces the individual to fall in the vicious circle of poverty. We can state the statistic of the number of Bisaya people living in the poverty. Majority of Bisaya people has 5 household members with 70.6% respondents. There are 63 out of 150 respondents of Bisaya people that has the highest educational level of Standard 6. Agricultural occupation has the highest percentage of 71.3% and income between 220 ringgit and 312 ringgit has the highest number of respondents, which is 39.
The objective of our study is to describe the demographic profile of the Bisaya tribe, to analyze the central tendency of the household income of the Bisaya tribe, and also to analyze the measure of dispersion of the Bisaya tribe in Sabah, Malaysia. Now, let's talk about the description of data. The population we chose for our case study is all the Bisaya people in Sabah, Malaysia. And out of all these Bisaya people, we have chosen a sample of 150 respondents from 150 households. And the type of data used in this study is secondary data. Secondary data is the data that has already been collected through primary sources and made readily available for researchers to do their own research. And it is a type of data that has already been collected in the past. Here is our description of variables. For the qualitative variable, we have the number of household members of the Bisaya people in Sabah, their highest educational level, and also their occupation based on category. And as for the quantitative variable, we have the household income of the Bisaya tribe in Sabah, Malaysia. Moving on to the first qualitative variables of the analysis and discussion, which is the household members. So as you guys can see in the slide, here is the bar chart of the household members of the Bisaya tribe in Sabah, Malaysia. And from this bar chart, we can interpret that out of 150 respondents, majority of the respondents has 5 household members, which makes up 22.7% of the Bisaya people, while 8.7% of the respondent has 2 and 3 household members, 12% of them has 4 household members, 13.3% of them has 6 household members, 15.3% has 7 household members, 11.3% has 8 household members, 6.7% has 9 household members, and the least number of Bisaya people, which is 1.3% of the respondent, has only 10 household members. So household members affects their household income in terms of basic needs sustainability and may cause shortage of money.
Moving on to the second qualitative is highest educational level. We'll create a bar chart to this qualitative. So the interpretation is from 150 respondents, majority of the respondents finished Standard 6, which makes 42%, while 7.3% of the respondents did not even finish any educational level, 9.3% of the respondents finished Standard 3, 5.3% of the respondents finished Standard 4, and 12% of the respondents finished Standard 5. 8% of the respondents finished Form 3, and only 4% of respondents finished Form 5. The least is the number of respondents who finished Standard 2, which is only 2% of the respondents. A percentage of about 12% of respondents succeeded in finishing as high as college level. The third qualitative is occupation based on category. We have graded a pie chart for this qualitative, and the interpretation is from 150 respondents, the majority of the respondents, which is 107 of them, work in occupation based on agricultural sectors. 32 of the respondents work under the governmental sectors, and the least is the number of respondents who is self-employed, which makes up only 11 of the respondents.
As for our quantitative analysis, we went for the bar chart for household income of Visayan households. From the 150 respondents, the highest frequency for the income class is from 220 ringgit to 312 ringgit. The second would be from 127 to 290 ringgit. Third being 313 to 405 ringgit at 25. The lowest that we got was a frequency of 2 for the income class of 34 ringgit to 126 ringgit. A majority of the household income are under 1,000, which is concerning as they are near the poverty line, and only 12 people of the 150 respondents have an income of more than 1,000 ringgit. As we can see here, we use this table to further calculate the mean, mod, median, and so on.
The mean for this data, which is the average household income of the Bisaya people, is 458 ringgit and 8 cents, while for the median is 283 ringgit and 6 cents. As for the mode of this data, we got are 203.77.
From the data we gathered, we made a cumulative frequency table and made an OGIF. From the OGIF, we analyzed the people who are affected by poverty, which is the people whose income is under 908 ringgit. We calculated it and we got 116 households to be affected by poverty in the Visayan households. We then proceeded to calculate the variance and standard deviation, and the variance seems to be 132,000. 1 ringgit and 98 cents, and for the standard deviation is 363 ringgit and 32 cents. Finally, we calculated the coefficient of variation CV, and we calculated the Pearson's coefficient of skewness. The coefficient of variation's result were 74.9%, and the Pearson's coefficient of skewness we got 1.668. As this number of Pearson's coefficient of skewness is positive, the distribution is positively skewed.
In conclusion, this study has shown a more precise data on poverty experienced by the Bisaya tribe. Distribution of their income is highly dependent on their highest education and their sector of work. Majority of them earn income under 1,000, which is considered to be near the poverty line. Further from city, causing lower basic income. Number of family members is too high for income. Through the mean and standard deviation, we can see that the income is less spread out and more concentrated in one class. It can be concluded that the Bisaya people are living in poverty and are much in need of aid from the government in finance and education.
On to the recommendation, there are two types of recommendation, which is to obtain a more accurate data and to lessen the poverty rate. First of all, to obtain a more accurate data, we should separate the Bisaya people into two groups of primary school leavers and also secondary school leavers. Secondly is which we will create a survey with people looking throughout Bisaya's agricultural site. And the last one is we should focus on the data collection towards Bisaya ethnics who appears to have 5 household members. This statement is because all of this contributes more to the poverty rate of the Bisaya people. Second of all is the recommendation to lessen the poverty rate. First of all, we should instill educational awareness to children of the Bisaya ethnics. Second is we should create campaigns regarding gun levels. And the third one is we should do family planning method. This is because this is ways to overcome the qualities that was stated in the data before. With that, thank you.